70 AD, from Jerusalem to Africa. I am sure you're wondering about the title of my discussion and what 70 AD in Jerusalem have to do with the history of the so-called African American in America. In fact, it's a very legitimate question, especially since our true histories have been hidden from us in the world for a very long time. Black History Month program have never really focused on the true roots and history of our people. While trouble abounds us even now on every side, we don't know and don't even consider the hidden mystery of the whole earth, that the so-called Negro is God's holy people. We were blinded to the fact that our people are actually descendants from the 12 tribes of Israel, also known as the Jews. And that's why I am beginning to talk with you on 70 AD and the destruction of our holy city, Jerusalem, Israel. The Bible is our history book, but we've been taught to read it by verses and phrases as a book about religion, and as a result, we have no idea why we suffer, have been oppressed throughout our history in this country, throughout the world. Yahweh made precious promises to the 12 tribes of Israel when he brought us out of captivity in Egypt, Africa, and warned us that if we did not obey him, that he would put us in captivity throughout the world. By the time of the Messiah in 1st century AD, many evils had befallen the children of Israel, just as Yahweh had foretold, and for the next several centuries, the Roman controlled our holy city and our people. But due to blatant and continual disobedience to Yahweh's commandment, the time was right for the fulfilling of the curses written in the scripture upon the mighty and holy people. Shortly before his death in 33 AD, Yeshua the Messiah called Jerusalem
the killer of the prophets and stoner of those sent to her.
And he foretold what would happen to our people and homeland, Jerusalem, Israel.
And when he was come near, he beheld the city, and wept over it, saying, If you had known, even you, at least in this day, and this your day, the things which belong unto your peace. But now they are hid from your eyes. For the day shall come upon you, that your enemies shall cast a trench about you, and compass you round about, and keep you in on every side, and shall lay you even with the ground, and your children within you, and they shall not leave in you one stone upon another, because you know not the time of your visitation.
In the year 66 AD, our forefathers rebelled against their Roman master. In response, the Emperor Nero dispatched an army under General Vespasian to restore order. By 68 AD, resistance in the northern part of the province had been eradicated, and the Romans turned their full attention to the subjugation of Jerusalem. That same year, the Emperor Nero died by his own hand, creating a power vacuum in Rome. In the resultant Pharaoh, Vespasian was declared emperor and returned to the imperial city. It fell to his son Titus to lead the remaining army in the assault on Jerusalem, thus fulfilling the prophecy in the book of Daniel, that it would be a prince who would come to destroy the city and the sanctuary. The Roman legion surrounded the city and slowly began to squeeze the life out of the Jewish stronghold. By the year 70 AD, the attackers had breached Jerusalem outer walls and began a systematic ramshacking of the city. The assault culminated in the burning and destruction of the temple that served as the center of Judaism. To commemorate his great victory, Titus had the famous Arch of Titus constructed, and it still stands in Rome, Italy today, as a stark reminder of the destruction of our people in the holy city of Jerusalem. Joseph Fabrius, a Jewish historian, in his book, War of the Jews, had this to say about the destruction of our people by the hand of Romans in 70 AD.
And now, since his soldiers were already quite tired with killing men, and yet there appeared to be a vast multitude still remaining alive, Caesar gave orders that they should kill none but those who opposed them, but should take the rest alive. But together with those whom they had orders to slay, they slew the aged and the infirm. But for those that were in their flourishing age, and who might be useful to them, they drove them together into the temple, and shut them up within the walls of the court of the women. The young men he chose out of the tallest and most beautiful, and reserved them for the triumph. And as for the rest of the multitude that were under 17 years old, he put them into bonds, and sent them to Egypt, into the Egyptian mines. Titus also sent a great number into the provinces as a present to them, that they might be destroyed upon their theaters by the sword and by the wild beast.
The war ended with the slaughter of 1.3 million black Jews, or members of the House of Judah. The exploitation of Yahweh Pleasant Plant, some toward Europe for sport, while the remaining 97,000 was sold to the Egyptians to work in their salt mines. Our forefathers' disobedience brought about a war that the historian Joseph stated was
the greatest of all wars. Accordingly, the multitude of those that therein perished exceeded all the destructions that either men or God ever brought upon the world. Thus was Jerusalem taken in the 2nd year of the reign of Vespasian, a city of great magnificence and of mighty fame among all mankind.
Thus fulfilling the words of the prophet Isaiah.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, between me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard, that I have not done in it? Why, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes? And now go to, I will tell you what I will do in my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down.
Not only were our people slaughtered in the war, but the wild grapes of Jerusalem were trodden down for sport, as our people became the butter and barbaric entertainment of the Roman Colosseum, physically screened and checked, then sold to the highest bidder. Many of the gladiators or athletes of Rome time were compromised of our own people who fought well, yet to the death. The Colosseum games grew hundreds of thousands only to witness our people being thrown to wild animals and burned at the stake for our beliefs as the Roman spectators cheered on. The streets leading to Rome were filled with brothers, the ones they called Christians first at Antioch, hanging not from crosses, but from torture stakes, erected poles carved from trees, one of the roads that were called the Appian Way, and the hanging body was a stark reminder of what will happen to you if you rebel against imperial Rome.
Keep not you silence, O God, for lo, your enemies, they have taken crafty counsel against your people. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Thus, as a nation, the Hebrew Israelite Jews were temporarily broken off from our rightful homeland and once again became slaves to the children of Africa. Salt, the chief economic power of Africa at the time and the forerunner to cotton, was a highly prized commodity also used for money. Now, a little salt is good, yet these were slabs of salt weighing as much as 220 pounds. The Latin term salter is derived from it. Thus, our sojourn in captivity throughout the continent of Africa began again, and there we remained for another 1,400 years until the transatlantic slave trade began.